get this, it is even to this day, you find people talking about, and by people I mean like European countries, talking about the need to suppress the continent of Africa, because that is where all of the resources are. There are no real resources for the world in Europe.
No.
Climate,
no.
right? It's in Africa.
Right.
However, if Africa had the power to retain those resources, the entire economy of the world would shift and change. The powers would shift and change. So if you are aware of someone else's power, and you know if they harness that power, they're going to be stronger than you, the idea is to get in front of it.
Right.
And to be like, well, you know what, let's never let them know their power.
Right.
So then at that point, they never can use it against us. That's why slavery took so long. Black people didn't realize they had the power to get out of slavery. But when they realized it, and these wars started happening, all these different attacks started happening, then they're like, okay, these black people know what's up.
Right.
And something needs to happen.
Right.
Part of even Nigeria getting its independence was the British telling the world, because they had the strength in the media, telling the world like, you know, well, Nigeria is getting their independence and we're helping them. These are the things that we're actually there to save them. We were actually there to give them, you know, the strength that they needed, to give them order, to give them things. Them Africans knew how to run themselves. They already had their systems. What they don't say though is that the way that we did it and how we did it and how we implemented what we thought instead of what you guys had. Think about the Berlin Conference. You had an entire conference of European countries in the United States sit down and talk about how they're going to divide a land that some of them have never even been in their life. They never even saw this land. People live there. People own this land. People have traditions there. They went there and created their own boundaries with countries just to say that this is our land, this is what we own, this is what we gonna have. To a place that people live in. People are there. And guess what? There wasn't a single African at this conference to talk on defense of their own land. So their land was being divided without their knowledge. Like, this is the type of situation that we deal with when we talking about black people having to do so much work now to understand how far we've been pressed back as a people. This is not just as black Americans, black British, black Africans. No, this is as a people, because the agenda against the continent is the agenda against black people in the world.
Right. Absolutely. And y'all need to hear that loud and clear. This conversation can go for days. Right? The goal is to, first, I need every black person to understand you are from Africa. They brought y'all from somewhere called Africa to exist in whatever part. It could be UK, it could be Cuba, Brazil, Jamaica. Black people are from Africa. That is where you originated from. Now, celebrate your culture. If you're Brazilian and that's what you know, if you're Jamaican and that's what you know, celebrate your culture. But you came from somewhere called Africa, and that's what I personally want to acknowledge. And I connect with Jamaican culture because my people is there.
You can feel it.
I'm pretty sure if I went to Brazil, I'll connect with them because they're my people. We are all connected as one. We should not be teaching our kids African booty scratcher. My nephew is 9 years old and he goes, "Grandma, this girl is not gonna like me because I'm African." That hurt me because I'm like, it's 2020. Why is he going through the stuff that I went through? Parents are teaching their kids otherwise. It's time for you guys to educate yourselves. That way you can educate the youth. And that way they can, we gotta unite. Like, we can't say, oh, I'm woke. You woke. Where you at? Where you at?
Yeah.
You can't say you woke
Only
and you don't even know where you from. We ain't doing that. We got to be awake. For real, for real. Open your eyes. Burna Boy talks about this all the time. The name Africa was given to us by Europeans, if you want to take it that far.
Listen,
so
Nigeria, the epithet of it is actually Negre, which is black, which is actually,
look at that.
Hello, if we really want to start talking about it.
But I'm saying we could go part
like
2, part 3, part 7, part 10. So what I'm not just going to talk about problems. Like, what ideas do you have to, I know Ghana, last year they gave like 700,000 visas to people to come back. Like, we want y'all to come back home. Come spend your dollar, your hard-earned pound in the land of resources. That way we could produce more for ourselves. We're welcoming you guys back. Do you have any specific ideas of how we can reunite and come together and just be happy?
100%. I mean, obviously, again, like you said, it all starts with education.
Okay.
Right? We have to educate one another on the importance. Why is it even important to be back in Africa? What does that even mean?
Right.
Why are you connected to the soil?
Okay.
And then once people realize that they are connected to the soil, it becomes almost innate for people to want to go back. They want to be a part of it. They want to help. The same way you would want to help your community that you grew up in when you leave and go back to it is the same way people want to come back. So I, for example, when I started competing in track and field and in the sport of bobsled, I said, I'm doing this for Africa.
Okay.
I'm doing this for Nigeria. Why? Because I know I have a very, very unique position as a African American, not just somebody who was born and raised in Chicago. So I am American in every sense of the word of being American. I'm black in every sense of the word, but I am also connected to the soil because I am Nigerian in every sense of that word. And so that means that people who are Nigerian, who understand my Nigerianness, can also connect to me being a Black American. And so I need to be able to check them and say, hey, this is not just your culture. This is our culture. You can't just say you're taking African culture and you are using it to do whatever, or you are using our culture. No, instead, you need to take a moment and decide to educate people that, okay, this is what the culture is. And if you feel connected to it, let me teach you what this means. Let me teach you these words. Let me teach you these things. Don't just say that this is ours. No, because the Black people in America or UK or wherever else in the world didn't ask for their culture to be ripped away from them. And right now they're seeking it. And so it is your job as someone who is knowledgeable to actually teach, tell people what they know. And so I'm trying to bridge that gap now by having more conversations of people being accountable. As a Black American, one time we had a conversation about, you know, I'm from Alabama. I'm not African American. I'm Black because I'm from Alabama. Okay, yeah, you are from Alabama, but do you know your grandmother? Do you know your great grandmother? Do you know your great 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 grandmother? And maybe their parent. You want to know where they're from? They were from the very last ship to leave the port of Nigeria went straight to Alabama, for people who don't know. And those individuals who, when I found that out, I was like, wow, this is my friend that's like, I'm Black, I'm not African. No, you may not relate to it, but your great 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 grandmother or grandfather was 100% African, and unfortunately for them, they had it stripped from them for your protection so that you can be born and you can live. Because had they raised it up, they may not have been able to have your great grandmother who had your grandmother and had your mother and had you, because they would have been killed.
Right. So, I mean, I can understand a disconnect of culture. You're like, well, I don't identify with that culture.
Right.
And that could be taught. You could learn that. You can experience that. You could read about it. What I love to see now is your P. Diddy doing an album with Burna Boy.
Absolutely.
I love to see Beyonce doing Shaku Shake It, Shake It. Come on, B. You know, I'm from Houston, and she doing something with Shatta Wale. I'm like, come on, mama. Get that ignites me. I'm not one to say, no, that's appropriation. Nah, we can't do that. We are going to come together. Africans, you two, we are not innocent, because sometimes we'll say something like, oh, they are not us. We're not them. It's time for us to forgive. I've forgiven everybody that's ever calling me a African booty scratcher.
Right.
Because I know it's out of ignorance. And I'm going to repeat this over and over. Ignorance does not mean you're stupid. It just means you're choosing to ignore information that is out there.
Exactly.
So I'm not gonna hold you to that.
Exactly.
I understand that something happened along the way. And it is my mission to host platforms like this to educate people.
Exactly.
It is my mission to talk to you and tell you how beautiful you are. Yes, if you're from Houston, if you're from Alabama, Mississippi, claim where you're from.
Absolutely.
However, you are my brother, you are my sister. When I'm walking down the street and I see a black person, I don't pick and choose who's African or not. I'm like, you're me and I'm you. What's up, shouty?
Yeah.
Also, to my Caucasian friends or whoever's listening, this is what happened. You need to educate yourselves too.
Right.
This is what happened in history. This is the disconnect between black people. Sometimes you're asking, well, why are black people so mad? Well, we've been traumatized
Exactly.
for hundreds of years. We've been oppressed for hundreds of years. So, obviously, Sean has her platform. Her Instagram is at Seun, SEUN _, Miss Amazing. And she talks about this all the time. She was actually, I saw you on the basketball player Bird.
Sue Bird.
Sue Bird's page,
Yeah,
talking about it, which Sue Bird, shout out to you,
She's
like, for allowing her to do that. I love that. That's which I'm all for people wanting to learn about history and what happens. Also, I do have some recommendations for you guys. There is the point of no return that we talked about. You can look it up on YouTube. There's like a 17-minute video of a guy talking about that on our YouTube page, Odunbaku Media. I will have that in the link in bio. Also, there is a Netflix documentary called Journey of an African Colony.
Watch that.
That will tell you guys what happened at the point of no return. My Instagram name is at Aminat Odunbaku. I'll spell that out for you. And this is at America's DNA. I appreciate you guys so much for listening. I am hoping that we get more people to unite. Ask your African friends. I know everybody has a Nigerian friend, including me. I got all y'all. Y'all just love tagging me to Nigerian stuff. Everybody has a Nigerian friend, a Jamaican friend, Caribbean, Ghanaian, East African, South African. Just learn your roots, and I would recommend to save up some money and just take a trip real fast. They got hotels over there. I know you said, but I don't know nobody. You could take a trip and discover Africa, like feel the energy, feel the soil. I guarantee 90% you'll connect. Just getting off the plane and seeing all black folks will make you feel different. It really would. You'd be like, whoa. You see one white man, you're like, you're the minority. You get so excited. So I appreciate you guys again for listening. Sean, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
I appreciate
Thanks for having me
this time. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you're able to learn.
Yes.
Have a great week. Bless up. Peace.